Okay, here are 4 off-brand gems inspired by Steven Universe to go up against John the High-Tech Genius, Bruno the Shape-Shifting Master, and Jack the Magic Teenager on Avengers Tower. The off-brand gems. 1. Peach Aventurine Weapon, a shimmering, oversized bubble blower that can create disorienting and sticky fields of iridescent bubbles. These bubbles can trap opponents, obscure vision, and even slightly dampen kinetic energy. Personality. Cheerful but somewhat clumsy, Peach Aventurine tries to be helpful, but often gets in the way of their own bubbles. They have a strong defensive instinct. 2. Smoky Quartz, Facet 2F9L, Weapon, a heavy, blunt war club made of solidified smoke. It's surprisingly dense and can deliver powerful but slow blows. Personality gruff and no-nonsense, Smoky Quartz is the powerhouse of the group. They are fiercely loyal to their teammates but not the most strategic thinker. They tend to rely on brute force.
Oh boy.
3. Lavender Spinel Weapon, a pair of extendable ribbon-like whips that can ensnare opponents or deliver swift, stinging strikes. The ribbons leave a faint, temporary shimmer in the air. Personality, playful and agile. Lavender Spinel enjoys taunting their opponents and using their speed to their advantage. They can be a bit impulsive and underestimate their foes. 4. Moss Agate Weapon, the ability to manipulate and rapidly grow thorny vines and patches of tough, fibrous moss from any surface they touch. This can be used to create obstacles, trap enemies, or even as makeshift restraints. Personality, quiet and observant. Moss Agate prefers to control the environment and support their team from a distance. They are more strategic and patient than the others. The battle on Avengers Tower. The battle begins on the observation deck of Avengers Tower. Round 1. Peach Aventurine immediately starts blowing large, disorienting bubbles, filling the space and making it difficult for everyone to see clearly. Smoky Quartz charges forward, swinging their smoke club at Bruno, hoping to land a solid hit before Bruno can fully shapeshift. Lavender Spinel uses their whips to try and ensnare Jack, keeping him at a distance and disrupting any magic he might be trying to cast. Moss Agate touches the metal floor, and thorny vines begin to sprout, creating a tangled obstacle course. John the High-Tech Genius would likely use his technology to analyze the bubbles, perhaps deploying a counter-frequency to pop them, or using enhanced vision to see through them. He might target Smoky Quartz with energy blasts, knowing they are the most direct threat. Bruno the Shape-Shifting Master would likely shift into a faster, more agile form to evade Smoky Quartz's slow attacks and navigate the bubble-filled environment. He could try to get close to the more vulnerable Peach Aventurine. Jack the Magic Teenager would have to react quickly to Lavender Spinel's whips, possibly using a shield spell or teleportation to avoid being ensnared. He would then need to find a way to counter Moss Agate's growing vegetation, perhaps with fire magic. Possible outcomes. The gems' initial chaotic offense could overwhelm the heroes if they aren't prepared for the unusual tactics. The bubbles could be surprisingly effective at disrupting focus, and Smoky Quartz's brute strength could catch someone off guard. However, the heroes have their own strengths. John's tech could quickly neutralize the gems' initial advantages. Bruno's shapeshifting offers incredible versatility to adapt to the changing battlefield. And Jack's magic has the potential to deal with multiple threats at once. Moss Agate's control over the environment could become a major factor, either trapping the heroes or providing cover for the gems. Lavender Spinel's agility could make them a difficult target to pin down. The outcome would likely depend on how quickly each side can adapt to the other's abilities and exploit their weaknesses. For example, Smoky Quartz's lack of speed could be their downfall against Bruno, while Peach Aventurine's clumsiness might lead to them trapping their own teammates. This is just a starting point, of course. The specifics of the battle could change depending on the exact abilities and strategies employed by each character.
Okay. Hey. Cast a.
Give me a chance to explain.
Oh no, Vine Spit. No, I'm trying to think, y'all. Cast a.
Are you serious?
I don't know, y'all. I'm trying to think. Oh. Am I on guard, right?
Hey, Mom, can I have some with you? Yes, baby.
I had a thing for a while, guys.
You can have as much as you want.
I had a thing for a
Okay,
while.
the battle on Avengers Tower begins. Round 1. Jack, the magic teenager, immediately makes his first move, casting a blue crayon spell aimed at Smoky Quartz. A large, vividly blue crayon materializes in the air and streaks towards the gruff gem. Smoky Quartz, Facet 2F9L, focused on their initial charge towards Bruno, is suddenly faced with this unexpected, oversized crayon hurtling towards them. Their heavy form isn't built for quick dodging. Peach Aventurine continues to blow disorienting bubbles, adding to the visual clutter on the observation deck. Lavender Spinel lashes out with their shimmering whips, still trying to ensnare Jack. Moss Agate continues to touch the metal floor, and more thorny vines begin to creep across the surface, slowly spreading. How does Smoky Quartz react to the blue crayon spell? Does it hit? What is the effect?
Okay, that's how you spell crayon.
She's a lot older than I thought she'd be. I'm so sorry for all of this. It is a lot. I feel blindsided.
The oversized blue crayon slams into Smoky Quartz. The impact is surprisingly forceful, more than one might expect from a giant crayon. Smoky Quartz stumbles back a step, a grunt escaping their lips. A smear of waxy blue now marks their smoky form. More importantly than any physical damage, the sheer absurdity of being hit by a giant blue crayon throws Smoky Quartz off guard. Their usual gruff focus wavers for a moment as they stare at the blue residue on their arm in disbelief. This momentary hesitation could be crucial, giving Bruno an opening or preventing Smoky Quartz from immediately following up their initial charge. What do the other gems and heroes do in response to Jack's crayon attack and Smoky Quartz's reaction?
Okay.
From there, things just moved really fast.
Air.
I dated for a little while, but it didn't work out. So we ended up breaking up. And then a few months later, I found out I was pregnant. I was gonna reach out to Todd just to let him know, but he wasn't a part of my life anymore. So I decided not to. And for a long time, I raised my girl all on my own. It wasn't easy, but I managed. When things got really hard, that's when I lost my job. I couldn't even afford groceries, and I fell behind on all of my bills.
I didn't say
John,
no.
the high-tech genius, reacts swiftly and decisively. John raises a gauntlet and unleashes a powerful blast of focused air from his air blaster, directly targeting Moss Agate. The force of the blast slams into the quiet gem, who is focused on spreading the thorny vines. Caught completely off guard and lacking significant physical stability, Moss Agate is lifted off their feet and propelled by the air blast towards the edge of Avengers Tower. With a surprised gasp, they are blown over the side. Immediately after, John activates his power of flight, jets deploying from his suit as he propels himself over the edge of the tower, following after the falling Moss Agate. On the observation deck, what do Bruno, Jack, Peach Aventurine, and Lavender Spinel do now that Moss Agate has been blasted off and John has followed?
Just that all this just happened a few days ago.
I'll say actual power of flight. We go the jet, but he has to. Okay. He had the power. He also got the power of flight too. So, wait.
Understood. John the high-tech genius, utilizing his innate power of flight, propels himself over the edge of Avengers Tower after the falling Moss Agate. Back on the observation deck, Bruno, the shape-shifting master, sees John suddenly depart. He might reassess the immediate threats, perhaps focusing on the remaining gems. He could shift into a form better suited for the current close quarters, bubble-filled environment, or prepare for John's potential return. Jack the magic teenager, having successfully thrown Smoky Quartz off balance with his crayon spell, might consider his next move. Does he press his advantage against the stunned gem, or does he target one of the other gems? He also needs to be aware of Lavender Spinell's ongoing whip attacks. Peach Aventurine continues to fill the area with their disorienting bubbles, seemingly oblivious to Moss Agate's predicament and John's pursuit. Their focus remains on creating a chaotic environment. Lavender Spinell, still agile and energetic, continues to flick their shimmering whips at Jack, trying to keep him occupied and prevent him from casting more spells. They might also be observing Bruno, looking for an opening to attack. What do Bruno and Jack do in their next moves?
I'm trying to remember. After I kicked you out, I went and visited Jada. And she told me everything, including how you... Which is no excuse for why you didn't tell me right away the moment you knew.
They were just lavender person.
I know this was a lot for you to take in.
Round 2. Bruno, the shape-shifting master, takes dramatic action. In a flash of icy energy and shifting mass, he transforms into a giant ice dragon. The transformation is immense and imposing, the sheer size of the dragon filling a significant portion of the observation deck. Jagged ice spikes jut out from its scales, and a frosty mist emanates from its nostrils. Lavender Spinell, who is flitting around trying to strike Jack, is suddenly confronted with this colossal roaring ice dragon. The sheer scale and suddenness of the transformation are likely to be quite startling. Peach Aventurine continues to blow bubbles, seemingly unfazed by the sudden appearance of a giant ice dragon. Some of the bubbles even bounce harmlessly off the dragon's icy hide. Smoky Quartz, still slightly bewildered by the crayon attack, looks up in surprise at the massive dragon now dominating the space. What does Lavender Spinell do in response to being faced with a giant ice dragon? What is Jack's next move?
He isn't keeping secrets.
Okay, well, we're just gonna get out of your hair. We don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Wait, but at least stay for dinner. Yes. Oh, we can play board games.
But this morning,
I heard that. Bobby does the exact same thing.
Well, you two are definitely siblings.
Choosing a lawyer is a critically important decision and well worth researching. That's why
You forgot that.
our team has recovered over $1 billion for our clients and has experience.
You are absolutely right. My apologies. The sheer sight of a giant ice dragon would indeed be terrifying for Lavender Spinell. Round 2. Revised. Bruno's transformation into the massive ice dragon achieves its intended effect. Lavender Spinell, agile and playful as they are, is completely taken aback and scared away by the sudden, enormous, and icy creature. They yelp, retract their whips, and rapidly back away, putting as much distance as possible between themselves and the dragon. They are now likely trying to find cover or a way off the observation deck. Peach Aventurine remains somewhat oblivious, their focus still on creating a bubbly barrier. Smoky Quartz is still recovering from the crayon incident and now stares up at the ice dragon with a mixture of surprise and perhaps a little apprehension. Now that Lavender Spinell has been scared off, what is Jack's next move?
Excuse me, Cyrus. I don't mean to impose, but if you don't leave soon, we'll hit traffic on the bridge.
You're right. Okay, let me watch this and find me a pair of earrings, okay? If you find them, you let me know, right? Of course.
What are you doing on the floor?
Pardon me?
I saw you when I walked in. What were you doing on the floor?
I thought I saw a stain, but looks like I was wrong.
Okay. Let's go. Have a good evening.
Gemini, you gotta use your brain sometimes. Thanks, Gemini. Thank you, thank you. Hang on, let's help you out, Gemini.
Did you find a job yet, Jose?
No luck today. Nobody's hiring construction workers right now.
It's been 6 months. I am tired.
Round 3. Jack the Magic Teenager wastes no time and unleashes his next attack. Crackling with energy, a powerful lightning blast erupts from his hands, arcing directly towards the still disoriented Smoky Quartz. The air crackles with ozone as the bolt of pure energy streaks across the observation deck. Smoky Quartz, still recovering from the bizarre crayon attack and now facing a giant ice dragon, is caught off guard by the sudden and intense lightning blast. Their smoky form offers little natural resistance to such an attack. Peach Aventurine continues their bubble production, some of the iridescent spheres now drifting near the crackling lightning. Bruno in his ice dragon form lets out a low growl, his icy eyes fixed on the remaining gems. Does Jack's lightning blast hit Smoky Quartz? If so, what is the effect?
Yes, it does.
Why are we doing this
It.
again? Don't worry, son. Nothing bad's gonna happen to you. This is just something I need for my job.
You guys watch videos, you know if a gem get damaged enough, they can poof. When they get damaged enough, they can poof back to their gem form.
The powerful lightning blast from Jack strikes Smoky Quartz directly. The bolt of pure energy slams into the smoky form of the gem. There's a flash of bright light and a sharp crackle as the electricity courses through their being. With a surprise shout and a dissipating wisp of smoke, Smoky Quartz poofs. Their physical form collapses, leaving behind only their gem, a dull, grayish-brown stone that clatters onto the metal floor of Avengers Tower. Peach Aventurine seems momentarily startled by the sudden poofing of their teammate, their bubble blowing momentarily ceasing. Bruno, still in his immense ice dragon form, lets out a triumphant roar, the sound echoing across the observation deck. The score is now off-brand gems, 2 remaining. Peach Aventurine, Lavender Spinel, currently scared off. Heroes, 3 remaining. Bruno, ice dragon form, Jack, John, currently off tower with Moss Agate. What do Peach Aventurine and Bruno do next?
Oh. Oh, what the heck am I watching now? What kind of crap am I watching? What's on?
You can't catch everything. I saw this when I was helping my husband find Jack.
With his.
My attention. I'm just so shocked right now. To be honest, can't say I'm too surprised. I think I smelled alcohol on him the other day. Drinking on the job.
We shift our focus briefly to the situation off the side of Avengers Tower. John, the high-tech genius, having pursued the falling Moss Agate, draws a blade that ignites with intense flames, his fire sword. As Moss Agate plummets, John expertly maneuvers himself alongside them using his flight. With a swift and precise strike of his fiery blade, he makes contact with the gem's physical form. The heat of the fire sword is too much for Moss Agate's light-based body to withstand. With a soft gasp and a shimmer of green light, Moss Agate poofs. Their physical form dissipates, leaving behind a piece of moss-green agate that falls harmlessly through the air. John, having neutralized the threat, can now focus on returning to the observation deck and rejoining the battle. Back on the observation deck, Peach Aventurine, witnessing the poofing of Smoky Quartz, seems to panic slightly. Their bubble production becomes more erratic and less focused. Bruno, in his giant ice dragon form, surveys the remaining gem. He lets out another icy roar, perhaps intending to intimidate Peach Aventurine further. What do Peach Aventurine and Bruno do in their next moves?
Resume looks great, Mr. Diaz. Says here you drove for Sherman Oaks Taxi for 9 years?
I did. I did, yes.
Okay, perfect. How does $5,000 a month sound?
Oh, that sounds amazing, Miss Iris. Thank you. I can't wait to start working.
Excuse me.
Getting that article, but it's not real. Someone's trying to just let me out.
Anita's husband, Jose, is now taking over. What? He drove for Sherman Oaks Taxi for almost a decade.
Round 4. Jack the Magic Teenager, thinking quickly and drawing upon his knowledge of Steven Universe, casts a spell. A shimmering, protective bubble of
you grew up
energy
watching it.
materializes around Smoky Quartz's fallen gem, encasing it safely.
Right.
This prevents the gem from being further damaged or potentially falling off the tower. It's a strategic move to neutralize one of the gems entirely, even if they can reform later. Peach Aventurine, still looking panicked, continues to blow a disorganized barrage of bubbles, some drifting towards the massive ice dragon. Bruno, in his giant ice dragon form, watches Jack encase the gem. He might see this as a smart move, removing a potential future threat. He continues to loom over Peach Aventurine, the icy mist from his nostrils swirling around the remaining gem. What do Peach Aventurine and Bruno do next? John is also likely on his way back to the observation deck.
Oh, Jesse, I totally forgot about soccer practice today. Come in, I'll get Hazel ready.
Is it okay if I just set my back down? I gotta run to the truck and get a few things before I set up outside.
Yeah, no problem. I wonder how much Iris pays Jesse. Raph played soccer in middle school.
Round 5. Bruno, in his formidable ice dragon form, focuses his icy gaze on the panicked Peach Aventurine. With a mighty roar, he unleashes a concentrated beam of pure ice from his mouth. The beam streaks across the observation deck, leaving a trail of frost in the air as it hurtles towards the small, round gem. Peach Aventurine, caught in the beam's path, has little chance to react. Their panicky bubble blowing offers no defense against the focused blast of freezing energy. The icy beam slams into Peach Aventurine. A visible frost spreads rapidly across their form, and they let out a surprised yelp as the cold seeps in. What is the effect of Bruno's icy beam on Peach Aventurine? Do they poof? Are they frozen?
Come with me and meet Miss Iris. Why are you being so difficult? Say something.
I will get to.
Wanna lie?
You don't have to lie. You know how to play the game. It's easy money.
Maybe this isn't a good idea. He's just a kid. He doesn't need to be a part of this. Besides, between the two of us, we're making 10 grand a month. It's more than enough.
We're still in debt. Raphael needs to do this. It's not an option. What?
The world may see a diagnosis, but we see so much more. For hope, for joy.
Mid-action,
So you were watching
off
TV,
tower.
Gemini.
Jack, keeping a watchful eye on the skies, spots John the Haytech genius flying back towards Avengers Tower. Thinking quickly, Jack pulls out his phone and sends a text message to John. Bubble up the moss agate gem with her force field ray. Back on the observation deck, the icy beam from Bruno's dragon form continues to engulf Peach Aventurine. The gem shudders violently as the intense cold spreads through them. In a flash of light and a puff of frosty air, Peach Aventurine poofs. Their physical form shatters into tiny ice crystals, leaving behind their smooth, peach-colored gem on the metal floor. Bruno, the giant ice dragon, lets out another triumphant roar, ice crackling around his snout. Jack watches as Peach Aventurine poofs, his attention now split between the fallen gem and the returning John. Now that Peach Aventurine has been poofed, the score is off-brand gems. 1 remaining, Lavender Spinel, currently scared off. Heroes, 3 remaining, Bruno, ice dragon form, Jack, John, returning to the tower. What does John do upon receiving Jack's text and seeing the moss agate gem? What do Bruno and Jack do next?
Until she can give me a valid reason as to why my missing earrings and now my necklace are in her bag, she's no.
I'm back. Gotta go to the bathroom.
I can't believe this.
Oh, Jack watches.
What are you gonna do about my payments?
Payment? Little girl, you are lucky I'm not calling the cops.
Hey, man. Hey, God.
Payment. I am so sorry, Miss Iris. Yeah, me too. First Alan and now Jesse. It's like you can't trust anybody nowadays. The worst part, Hazel has soccer playouts at the end of the month, and now she has no coach. You know, my son used to play soccer.
Okay, I was reading it, y'all.
I think you can make that work. Anything for you, Musa.
John replies.
Okay, John receives Jack's text message while mid-flight back to Avengers Tower. Seeing the moss-green agate gem falling below him, he responds to Jack's text with a quick, "Got it." As he continues his ascent, John aims one of his gauntlets at the descending moss agate gem. A beam of shimmering energy erupts from the gauntlet, solidifying into a force field bubble that encases the gem, halting its fall and gently holding it in midair. John then continues his flight back towards the observation deck, now carrying the bubbled moss agate gem with him. Back on the observation deck, Bruno, still in his impressive ice dragon form, surveys the area. With 2 gems poofed, he seems to have secured a significant advantage. He lets out a low growl, perhaps anticipating the return of John. Jack watches John's efficient capture of the moss agate gem. With Smoky Quartz and Peach Aventurine poofed and their gems secured, and Lavender Spinel still missing, the tide of the battle seems to be turning in the hero's favor. He remains alert, ready for Lavender Spinel's potential return, or his next move against Bruno. What do Bruno and Jack do now that John is returning with the bubbled moss agate gem?
Hazel's cousin Beth is in town for the summer, and she offered to train Hazel. She's a great player.
Thanks. I got a quick shower.
Rafa, I'd really love for you to continue training Hazel after Beth goes back to school. So you're just letting him go with such short notice? I understand. How about I give you something extra to hold you over in case something else comes up?
Thanks.
What are we gonna do? We need that money.
Do we? We paid off all of our bills. We got a new place. That was the goal, right?
Run up on
You get a life like Iris has. I just
Bruno. And sorry, it's their friends.
I was set up for this issue.
Oh,
don't hang up your secret.
Gemini. Gemini. King Long. It's like pretty asked me already. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, they're just giving us a thing. Good picture.
Round 6. The battle takes an unexpected turn as 2 new gem warriors burst onto the scene. Ocean Jasper, her form shimmering with a deep ocean blue hue, and Rose Quartz Soldier, radiating a soft, warm rose color, appear from the shadows, their whips drawn and glowing with energy. They charge towards Bruno and Jack, ready to join the fray. Bruno, still in his imposing ice dragon form, turns his attention to the new arrivals. He lets out a low growl, his icy breath swirling around him as he prepares to face these new challengers. Jack, surprised but not intimidated, raises his hands, ready to counter any attacks from the incoming gems. He keeps a watchful eye on both Ocean Jasper and Rose Quartz Soldier, as well as Bruno, anticipating the next move in this chaotic battle. John, carrying the bubbled moss agate gem, continues his descent towards the observation deck, now aware that the situation has become even more complex. What do Ocean Jasper and Rose Quartz Soldier do next? How does Bruno react to the new arrivals?
What about Jack? He can ride. Does or deck. Where
Yes, one might say.
Bruno has to a huge.
Oh my gosh, Miss Beth. Are you feeling okay? What's wrong?
I don't know, it's just acting really weird.
Okay, why don't you run inside and get your mom, okay?
Oh, come on, Gemini. I'm getting that picture though on my phone though.
Anita, Beth, what's wrong with her? I don't know. Why? I just came out and found her like this. I haven't seen anyone like this.
That's
No, I'm sure Beth's a good girl. She wouldn't what? time I saw anyone like this, it was arrogant, and he wasn't exactly.
Gemini be hard headed. Hang on, y'all. Well, he's still learning though, so Gemini is gonna, like, you know, he's gonna do want to help Gemini, help him out because he's still learning stuff. So.
Can you hear me? Come on. She probably just needs to sleep it off. I'm sure it's not.
Oh, that looks cool too.
Round 7. Bruno's ice dragon form begins to shrink and contort, its icy scales and spikes retracting as it morphs into a different shape. The transformation culminates in a massive, muscular gorilla with ice blue fur and eyes. The gorilla stands tall, its chest heaving, and lets out a deafening roar that echoes through the Avengers Tower. The sudden transformation startles Ocean Jasper and Rose Quartz Soldier, who are still some distance away. Before they can react, the gorilla charges forward, its massive fist swinging wildly. Rose Quartz Soldier is caught in the onslaught, taking 5 powerful punches that send her flying back across the observation deck. What is the effect of Bruno's punches on Rose Quartz Soldier? Is she knocked out? Does she poof?
Do you think that's true, Ben? What's going on? What is this? Some kind of joke?
We'll get to that soon. They get Ocean Jasper damage too. So Ocean Jasper won't be all, you know, big and strong and balanced and all that stuff like that. But, come on.
Came back.
Yep. And I ran into Hazel. And she was really upset about everybody getting fired. And they mentioned that it was your family members that kept replacing us.
Ooh, excuse me.
I had to do a lot of digging. That news article that you gave us was a fake.
I get these pictures, man.
Round 7. Jack, realizing that a direct confrontation with the massive gorilla form of Bruno might not be the best strategy, decides to use his magic in a more tactical way. He focuses his energy, muttering a quick incantation under his breath. A wave of energy surges from Jack's hands, but instead of a powerful blast, it takes the form of a clumsy, misshapen blob of energy that wobbles towards Ocean Jasper. The spell seems to have a mind of its own, veering off course and bouncing off the walls of the observation deck before finally colliding with Ocean Jasper. What is the effect of Jack's clumsy spell on Ocean Jasper? Does it have any effect at all, or does it simply bounce off harmlessly?
It has a.
So we had Beth take Raphael's job just to see what she would do. We planted nanny cams all over the house. And lo and behold, on the kitchen counter had a gold mine of footage. You set me up. You can't do that. I can, because it's my house. Although you act like it was yours. I wouldn't be surprised if the police found my jewelry in your new house either. Hold on a second.
Ma'am, what do you need to place your hands behind your back?
Round 7. Round 7. The clumsy spell hits Ocean Jasper, and the results are, well, clumsy. Her movements become jerky and uncoordinated, and she stumbles and trips over her own feet, falling to the ground with a yelp. Jack, seeing the opportunity, quickly follows up with a blast of fire from his hands. The flames engulf Ocean Jasper, who is still sprawled on the ground, unable to react. What is the effect of the fire blast on Ocean Jasper? Does she poof? Or is she able to extinguish the flames?
She poofs.
Believe them the first time. Take her away.
Sorry, you gotta come in, girl. You don't gotta speak with round 7 again. You can just do the. You can say round 8 or whatever. Oh, shut up. Yeah, I'm to do all that. Oh, let's go too, but no, you have to do it like that. Gemini. You still loading off all this? Dude. Dude, come on, bro.
Round 7. Round 7. The flames engulf Ocean Jasper, who is still sprawled on the ground, unable to react. Jack, seeing the opportunity, quickly follows up with a blast of fire from his hands. The flames engulf Ocean Jasper, who is still sprawled on the ground, unable to react. Jack, seeing the opportunity, quickly follows up with a blast of fire from his hands. The flames engulf Ocean Jasper, who is still sprawled on the ground, unable to react. Jack, seeing the opportunity, quickly follows. Round 7. The flames engulf Ocean Jasper, who is still sprawled on the ground, unable to react. Jack, seeing the opportunity, summons his magical sword. The blade shimmers into existence in his hand, crackling with magical energy. With a determined shout, Jack plunges the sword into Ocean Jasper's chest. With a flash of light and a gasp, Ocean Jasper poofs. Her physical form dissipates, leaving behind a swirling blue-green gem on the metal floor. The score is now: off-brand gems, 1 remaining. Rose Quartz Soldier, injured. Lavender Spinel, currently scared off. Heroes, 3 remaining. Bruno, giant gorilla form. Jack, John, returning to the tower with bubbled moss agate gem. What happens to Rose Quartz Soldier after being punched by Bruno's gorilla form? What do Bruno and Jack do next? John is also very close to returning to the observation deck. Round 8. John the high-tech genius lands gracefully back on the observation deck, the force field bubble containing Moss Agate's gem floating gently beside him. He takes in the scene: Bruno in his massive gorilla form, Jack standing ready, and the dissipating remnants of Ocean Jasper. He nods to his teammates, acknowledging the progress they've made. Back to Rose Quartz Soldier. The 5 powerful punches from Bruno's gorilla form send Rose Quartz Soldier sprawling across the observation deck. She groans in pain, clutching her chest. While gems are resilient, the sheer force of the blows has clearly winded and injured her. She struggles to get back to her feet, looking dazed and disoriented. On the offensive, Bruno, in his giant gorilla form, beats his chest triumphantly after taking down Rose Quartz Soldier. He then turns his attention towards the remaining threat, likely Jack, or preparing for the potential return of Lavender Spinel. Jack, having just poofed Ocean Jasper, keeps his magical sword ready. He watches Bruno cautiously, aware of the gorilla's immense strength. He might also be considering how to best deal with the injured Rose Quartz Soldier. What do Bruno and Jack do now that John has returned and Rose Quartz Soldier is injured?
Okay. She's already interviewing me.
Okay, let's see that. We can't have them avoid them being popped and then they're reforming. I deal with them again. Be like 5 or 6.
Round 9. John the high-tech genius immediately takes a strategic approach. He deploys several sleek, high-tech drones from compartments in his suit. These drones, equipped with energy grapples and containment fields, swiftly move towards the 2 bubbled gems, smoky quartzes and moss agates. The drones carefully secure the bubbles and begin to lift them, maneuvering to carry them off the observation deck and presumably back to their base. Meanwhile, on the deck, Bruno, in his giant gorilla form, continues to loom over the injured Rose Quartz Soldier, perhaps ready to deliver a final blow. Jack remains vigilant, his magical sword still in hand, ready to defend against Bruno or any surprise attack from Lavender Spinel. He also keeps an eye on Rose Quartz Soldier. What do Bruno and Jack do now that John is securing the poofed gems? What does Rose Quartz Soldier do in her injured state? You are absolutely correct. In the heat of battle, I momentarily forgot the established relationship. Jack would not be looking to defend against Bruno. My apologies for that oversight. Round 9, revised. John's drones efficiently secure the bubbled gems of smoky quartz and moss agate, beginning their transport off the observation deck. On the deck, Bruno, in his giant gorilla form, having just pummeled Rose Quartz Soldier, might let out a triumphant roar or turn his attention to the remaining threat, Lavender Spinel, if they reappear. He wouldn't be hostile towards Jack. Jack, seeing Bruno's success against Rose Quartz Soldier and John securing the poofed gems, would likely focus on supporting his teammates. He might keep an eye out for the still missing Lavender Spinel, or prepare to assist Bruno against Rose Quartz Soldier if needed. Rose Quartz Soldier, still injured and disoriented from Bruno's powerful attacks, struggles to rise. She is vulnerable in her current state. What do Bruno and Jack do now, focusing on the remaining threats and the injured Rose Quartz Soldier?
What else do you say?
In a few weeks, everything will revert back to being the same. Like the conversation never even happened. He's too set in his ways.
And you're not?
Thank you for that.
You expecting someone?
Not that I can think of. She was my last interview. I'll go check on the kids. Hi.
No, you see how strong his friend's gorilla form is. He sees it. Up. There we go.
Round 10. Jack, seeing the injured and vulnerable Rose Quartz Soldier struggling to get up, takes decisive action. He raises his magical sword, and with a swift strike, he plunges it into Rose Quartz Soldier's form. With a gasp and a flash of pink light, Rose Quartz Soldier poofs, leaving behind her rose-colored gem on the metal floor. Immediately after, mirroring his earlier move with Smoky Quartz, Jack casts another shimmering energy bubble around Rose Quartz Soldier's fallen gem, securing it. Standing over the two bubbled gems, Smoky Quartz and Rose Quartz Soldier, Jack confidently declares, "You mess with the wrong hero."
Hey kiddos, this is Chris. Does Dad know you're going on a date?
You are absolutely right. My apologies for the continued oversight. Jack's primary focus would be on supporting Bruno, not necessarily being the one to deliver the final blow immediately after Bruno's attack. Let's...
Okay. No, he...
Well, we better be going. Miss Goodman tells me she's taking you kids out today, so have fun. Ready?
Can't believe Daddy's seeing someone else.
Seriously? Tell me about it.
Gosh, Legion, Renee. Dang, I mean, well, me messing up, too. Let's right. Yeah, I'm trying to...
You are absolutely correct. My apologies for the continued errors. Let's get this right. Round 10.
Correct it.
Jack, seeing the injured and vulnerable Rose Quartz Soldier struggling to get up after Bruno's powerful attacks, takes decisive action. He raises his magical sword and poofs the down gem with a swift strike. Immediately after poofing Rose Quartz Soldier, Jack, demonstrating his knowledge of gem behavior, casts a shimmering energy bubble around her fallen gem, preventing it from being further harmed or escaping. Standing over the newly bubbled Rose Quartz Soldier gem, alongside the already bubbled Smoky Quartz gem being carried away by John's drones, Jack confidently declares, "You mess with the wrong heroes." On the deck, Bruno, still in his giant gorilla form, lets out a chest-beating roar, acknowledging the neutralization of another threat. He looks around the observation deck, perhaps anticipating the return of Lavender Spinel. John's drones continue their steady flight off the tower, carrying the bubbled Smoky Quartz and Moss Agate gems. John himself remains on the deck, observing and ready for any further developments. The score remains: off-brand gems, 1 remaining, Lavender Spinel, currently scared off. Heroes, 3 remaining, Bruno, giant gorilla form, Jack, John. What do Bruno and John do next, with 2 gems poofed and bubbled, and only Lavender Spinel potentially remaining?
Gem, not Gem. Stupid head.
Round 11. John the high-tech genius
I said Gem, not Gem. What the freak did we hearing, bro? Hang on, yo.
I haven't
I'm doing it again.
man other than Alex in 20 years.
No, I know a type fast wife. Carrying away the other gems. They had last gem. Gosh, Lee. Come on, Gemini. Come on, buddy. I'm put also this. I'm tired. Bruno being a freaking. Back to his. Ad, you gotta leave me alone. Hey, Ad, you gotta leave me the freaking. Yo, where's my remote? Where's my freaking remote? Hang on, yo.
I'm done playing your game.
Oh, I can't. Hang on, yo.
Round 11. John directs his remaining drones to begin a sweep of the observation deck, their sensors actively searching for any trace of Lavender Spinel. He knows that a remaining gem, even if scared, could still pose a threat. Bruno, the massive gorilla form shrinking and reshaping, returns to his human guise. He might stretch and take a breath after the exertion of the transformation in the fight, but remains alert. He would likely communicate with Jack and John, perhaps discussing the next steps, or the possibility of Lavender Spinel fleeing. Jack, his magical sword still present but perhaps less actively held, scans the area as well. He knows Lavender Spinel is fast and could be hiding. The observation deck is now relatively clear of immediate threats, with 2 bubbled gems being taken away and Rose Quartz Soldier neutralized. The focus shifts to locating the elusive Lavender Spinel. What do John, Bruno, and Jack do to try and find Lavender Spinel? Does Lavender Spinel make a reappearance?
Stand on his own two feet. You see, for the past 34 years, I've taken care of everything for him. All Alan does is stay home and play video games. He doesn't even clean up after himself, so I have to do it for him. I've pleaded with him to get a job or to go to school so that he could make something of himself. But no matter how much I've tried, he's never been interested in any sort of work. And I'm not rich. I don't make very much money. I've had to beg him to help me pay rent or help with the bills. But instead, he spent thousands of dollars on my credit card without even contributing a dime. And so you see,
Yeah.
Okay, the scene shifts to the following day. Bruno, Jack, and John are debriefing Musa, the wielder of elemental, shadow, and light magic, and Miles, the ice warrior, on the intense battle that took place on Avengers Tower, and their struggle to capture the elusive Lavender Spinel. Bruno, perhaps still a bit weary from his shapeshifting, recounts the brute force tactics and the unexpected arrival of Ocean Jasper and Rose Quartz Soldier. Jack, likely demonstrating some of his spells, explains Lavender Spinel's speed and how they were initially scared off by Bruno's ice dragon form, but never fully apprehended. John, possibly showing holographic projections from his suit, details the deployment of his drones to secure the poofed gems and the subsequent search for Lavender Spinel, which ultimately proved unsuccessful. Musa and Miles listen intently, absorbing the information about the off-brand gem's abilities and Lavender Spinel's evasiveness. Musa, with her diverse magical abilities, might suggest using sensory spells to detect Lavender Spinel's energy signature, or illusions to try and lure them out if they are hiding. Miles, the ice warrior, could propose using his ice manipulation to create a localized blizzard, or freeze certain areas, potentially hindering Lavender Spinel's movements if they are still in the vicinity, or have a cold-based weakness. What specific strategies do Musa and Miles suggest to find Lavender Spinel? Where do the heroes decide to begin their search?
Alan storms out, leaving his mom there heartbroken.
Miles, the ice warrior, suggests a tactical approach, proposing they lay a trap specifically designed to ensnare someone with Lavender Spinell's known agility. He envisions creating a localized area of treacherous ice formations, perhaps a field of slick, uneven ice with hidden pitfalls,
There you go.
or sudden spikes that would be difficult to navigate at high speed. He believes Lavender Spinell might be lured into this area, either by a perceived weakness or if they attempt to retrieve their captured comrades' gems, assuming they know their location. Musa agrees this could be effective, adding that she could subtly weave illusions into the ice formations, making the safe paths unclear and the traps more deceptive. She could also use her light magic to create distracting glares or shadows to further disorient Lavender Spinell. Bruno and Jack consider this plan. Bruno's shapeshifting could be useful for scouting the potential trap location or even acting as bait. Jack's magic could provide additional layers of defense or detection within the icy trap. John suggests using his technology to monitor the trap remotely with sensors and drones, ready to intervene if Lavender Spinell is captured or if the situation becomes dangerous. He also reminds the group that they don't know Lavender Spinell's motivations, or if they are even still in the city. Where do the heroes decide to set this ice trap? Do they have a specific location in mind, perhaps based on where Lavender Spinell was last seen, or where they might logically try to return?
Actually, I just loved me enough to show me the value of hard work.
Considering the events on Avengers
Oh, come on. On.
I have been wondering if I made the right decision.
You did, Mom. And I'm so thankful. Oh, you're right, Jim.
What is this?
Just my way of saying thank you. Taking care of me all those years. I know it's not much, but there's a lot more coming.
Guys, this video was innocent. Not really.
Bruno suggests that Lavender Spinell might try to return to the scene of their last confrontation, Avengers Tower. It's a significant location, and the site where their comrades were defeated and their gems were taken. He reasons that a sense of loyalty or a desire for revenge might draw them back. Jack agrees, adding that if Lavender Spinell is still scared, they might try to observe from a distance first. He suggests setting the ice trap in a location that offers some cover but is still within view of Avengers Tower, such as a nearby rooftop or a park across the street. This way, they could potentially lure Lavender Spinell into the trap if they are indeed surveilling the area. John analyzes the surrounding cityscape using his suit's systems. He identifies a smaller, less conspicuous building with a clear line of sight to Avengers Tower, the old Stark Industries research facility a few blocks away. The rooftop of this building could serve as an ideal location for Miles to set his ice trap. It offers a vantage point for Lavender Spinell to observe, and the heroes could position themselves strategically to intercept if the gem takes the bait. Musa concurs, noting that the Stark facility has some residual magical energy signatures that could help mask their own presence and make the illusions within the ice trap more convincing. The heroes decide to set their trap on the rooftop of the old Stark Industries research facility, a few blocks away from Avengers Tower. Miles begins to work on creating his intricate ice trap. What does the trap look like? And how do the other heroes position themselves to observe and potentially capture Lavender Spinell?
That's a good question. Hang on.
I'm gonna head to the store to pick a few things up, but when I get back, I can't wait to. I'll be waiting for Timmy after I'm done with the dishes and the floor. Ooh, sounds like you got the same crick in your neck as I do. You know, one of these days we are gonna get somebody to watch Timmy, and you and I are gonna have a girls' spa day. Oh, that sounds so great. Maybe when we.
I don't know how to spell it anymore.
This is Miss Amber, my boss, who I'm always talking about.
teaching Miss Everett how to get...
Maria, can I talk to you? Oh, yeah, just pull something up.
Miles, with a focused wave of his hands, begins to sculpt the rooftop of the old Stark Industries facility into a treacherous landscape of ice. The trap is a circular area about 20 feet in diameter, shimmering under the afternoon sun. The surface. The main surface of the trap is slick and uneven, with patches of seemingly stable ice that are deceptively thin and prone to cracking. Hidden pitfalls. Several circular sections of the ice are designed to give way under pressure, revealing deep, ice-lined pits that would be difficult to climb out of. The openings are cleverly disguised with a thin layer of frosted ice. Sharp spikes. Jagged ice spikes, some thin and needle-like, others thicker and more substantial, jut out at odd angles across the surface, making swift, direct movement dangerous. Illusory paths. Musa subtly weaves illusions into the ice. Some seemingly clear paths shimmer and distort upon closer inspection, suggesting stability where there is none. Other areas appear treacherous, but might offer a solid foothold. A central lure. In the center of the icy trap, Miles places a single, unbubbled gem replica, a convincing fake designed to resemble one of Lavender Spinell's fallen comrades. The hiding spots. Bruno, using his shape-shifting abilities, blends seamlessly into the environment. He takes the form of a weathered gargoyle perched on a corner of the building's facade, offering him a wide view of the trap and the surrounding area. Jack uses his magic to create a cloaking spell, rendering him virtually invisible as he crouches behind a large, discarded piece of machinery on the rooftop, giving him a direct line of sight to the trap. John utilizes his tech to his advantage. Several miniature, cloaked drones hover silently at different vantage points around the rooftop, feeding him visual and sensor data directly to his suit. He himself is concealed within a maintenance access panel, ready to deploy countermeasures or capture devices if Lavender Spinell triggers the trap. Musa blends into the shadows near a ventilation unit, her magical senses heightened, ready to cast binding spells or illusions as needed. The trap is set, and the heroes are hidden, patiently waiting to see if Lavender Spinell will take the bait. The fate of the last off-brand gem hangs in the balance.
I take Sam with me, but they're only allowing patients in. And I really have to go. I'm sorry. Maybe I can take them both.
What choice do I have?
Yeah. I was just in motion.
A blur of motion catches Bruno's disguised gargoyle eyes first. Lavender Spinell arrives on the rooftop with surprising speed, a whirlwind of purple energy trailing behind them. They seem agitated, their movements quick and erratic as they scan the area, their gaze flicking towards Avengers Tower in the distance. Their eyes quickly lock onto the unbubbled gem replica in the center of the icy trap. A look of longing and perhaps a hint of desperation crosses their face. They take a hesitant step onto the icy surface. The moment their foot touches the treacherous ice, the subtle differences become apparent. They stumble slightly, their usual fluid movements faltering on the slick and uneven ground. They take another step, more cautiously this time, their eyes fixed on the gem replica. The trap has been sprung. How do the heroes react to Lavender Spinell's arrival and their first steps onto the ice?
Is the reason you're moving out because you just graduated high school?
I had to drop out junior year because
You get a little excited about that. You're
The reason that you're not able to hold a job because of all the
A collective, silent anticipation washes over the hidden heroes. Bruno, as the gargoyle, remains perfectly still, his keen eyes tracking Lavender Spinell's every move. A slight tensing of his stone-like form is the only indication of his heightened alertness. Jack, cloaked and unseen behind the machinery, grips his magical sword a little tighter. A barely perceptible shimmer of magical energy emanates from his hiding spot, a sign of his readiness. John, within the maintenance panel, monitors the sensor readings from his drones. A tactical display flickers across his visor, highlighting Lavender Spinell's position and movement within the trap. His fingers hover over the controls for capture restraints. Musa, shrouded in shadow, focuses her magical senses, feeling the subtle shifts in Lavender Spinell's energy as they navigate the icy terrain. She prepares a binding spell, ready to unleash it at the opportune moment. They hold their breath, acutely aware that any sudden movement or sound could alert the agile gem and allow them to escape the trap. The success of their carefully laid plan hinges on their patience and Lavender Spinell's desire for the replica gem. Lavender Spinell continues to move cautiously across the ice, their initial speed replaced by a hesitant, almost testing gait. They are clearly finding the surface difficult to traverse. What does Lavender Spinell do next? Do they continue towards the gem replica, or do they sense something is amiss?
Okay.
Have a good one.
Yo, you got a thing in your pockets, my man?
No, I don't.
You sure?
Do you want me to show you?
Please.
Okay, look. This is my phone. I don't have anything, alright? I don't.
You forgot to add Miles. Let's do that again, yo.
You are absolutely right. My apologies for the oversight. Miles is a crucial part of this trap. Let's integrate his reaction. A collective, silent anticipation washes over the hidden heroes. Bruno, as the gargoyle, remains perfectly still, his keen eyes tracking Lavender Spinell's every move. A slight tensing of his stone-like form is the only indication of his heightened alertness. Jack, cloaked and unseen behind the machinery, grips his magical sword a little tighter. A barely perceptible shimmer of magical energy emanates from his hiding spot, a sign of his readiness. John, within the maintenance panel, monitors the sensor readings from his drones. A tactical display flickers across his visor, highlighting Lavender Spinell's position and movement within the trap. His fingers hover over the controls for capture restraints. Musa, shrouded in shadow, focuses her magical senses, feeling the subtle shifts in Lavender Spinell's energy as they navigate the icy terrain. She prepares a binding spell, ready to unleash it at the opportune moment. Miles, positioned strategically beneath a section of the icy rooftop, perhaps having created a hollow space, subtly manipulates the ice beneath Lavender Spinell's feet. A faint blue glow emanates from his hiding spot as he focuses his icy power, ready to trigger a pitfall or a sudden spike if the gem lingers too long in one area. They hold their breath, acutely aware that any sudden movement or sound could alert the agile gem and allow them to escape the trap. The success of their carefully laid plan hinges on their patience and Lavender Spinell's desire for the replica gem. Lavender Spinell continues to move cautiously across the ice, their initial speed replaced by a hesitant, almost testing gait. They are clearly finding the surface difficult to traverse. What does Lavender Spinell do next? Do they continue towards the gem replica, or do they sense something is amiss?
So, Timmy, you're in 4th grade? Yeah, how you like school?
It's good. Please do not talk to my son. Oh, Timmy, just spill juice on yourself. Go ask Maria to get you a new shirt. Go change.
Look, Miss Amber, I'm really sorry about what happened earlier, but I promise you, I have no idea how that toy got in my hoodie. I've never stolen anything before, and I would never do that in my life.
I'm not so sure. If I wasn't there, who knows what else you would have stolen. My watch!
What about it? Everything okay?
Like you don't know.
No, what? Man, if it's missing, I can help you.
Lavender Spinell continues their slow and deliberate progress across the treacherous ice, their eyes never leaving the gem replica in the center. They test each step, their movements uncharacteristically hesitant for such an agile gem. Just as they reach the midpoint of the icy circle, and directly over a section Miles has been focusing on, the ice beneath Lavender Spinell suddenly cracks and gives way. With a surprised yelp and a flailing of limbs, Lavender Spinell plunges downwards into the ice-lined pit. Before they can react or attempt to climb out, jagged spikes of ice erupt upwards from the sides and the bottom of the pit, forming a cage around them. The bars of ice are thick and solid, crackling with cold energy, effectively trapping Lavender Spinell within. The trap has sprung perfectly. How do the hidden heroes react to their successful capture? What does Lavender Spinell do within the ice cage?
So I might as well now. You see, as long as I can remember, my dad has been a very bad alcoholic. He would always come home late, stumbling drunk. And if my mom dared say anything, he would take out his anger on her. And even though I was so little, I always did my best to help.
The successful activation of Miles' ice cage prompts the heroes to emerge from their carefully concealed positions.
Right.
Bruno, shifting back from his gargoyle form, lands lightly on the edge of the icy trap, a satisfied look on his face. Jack, dropping his cloaking spell, floats down gracefully towards the cage, his magical sword dissipating as he descends. John, stepping out from the maintenance panel, activates a small anti-energy field generator on his gauntlet, just in case Lavender Spinel attempts any energy-based attacks. He approaches the ice cage cautiously. Musa steps out of the shadows, her eyes glowing faintly as she observes the trapped gem, ready to cast binding spells if needed. Miles, having solidified the ice cage, emerges from his hidden position beneath the rooftop, joining the others as they converge around the trapped Lavender Spinel. They all gather around the ice cage, their expressions a mix of relief and triumph. Inside, Lavender Spinel looks around in shock and frustration, their initial longing for the replica gem replaced by the cold reality of their capture. They test the bars of the ice cage, pushing against them with their hands, but the ice remains solid and unyielding. What do the heroes say or do upon confronting the trapped Lavender Spinel? What are Lavender Spinel's initial reactions and attempts to escape?
Would have never left you there if I had known.
I didn't want you worrying about me, Mom. I was just glad that you found a safe place. Place that knew that I'd eventually I never intended on bringing any trouble here.
Musa approaches the ice cage, a confident glint in her eyes. She looks directly at Lavender Spinel, who is still testing the icy bars, and says with a straightforward tone, "Well, well, well. Looks like you're in a bit of a bind, aren't you? Straight up, girl, you are trapped." Her words are direct and leave no room for misinterpretation. The other heroes watch Lavender Spinel's reaction, waiting to see if the captured gem will respond.
Yes. Let's fix it up a little bit, shall we?
I was having it cleaned for you.
Musa steps forward, a confident glint in her eyes as she addresses the trapped Lavender Spinel. "Well, well, well," she says, her voice carrying a hint of playful triumph. "Looks like you're in a bit of a sticky situation, wouldn't you say? Trapped girl. Straight up trapped girl. That's what you are." Lavender Spinel glares at Musa, their expression a mixture of anger and desperation. They renew their attempts to escape the ice cage, pushing and pulling at the bars with more force, but the ice remains stubbornly solid. Frustration mounts on their face as their efforts prove futile. Bruno steps closer to the cage, observing Lavender Spinel intently. "Why did you come back?" he asks, his voice calm but firm. "Did you think you could retrieve your friend's gems?" Jack nods in agreement. "It was a risky move," he adds. "We were prepared for you." John keeps a watchful eye on Lavender Spinel, his anti-energy field generator active. "We don't want to hurt you," he states, his tone neutral. "But we need to understand your intentions." Miles remains silent for a moment, observing the trapped gem, then says, his voice steady, "This cage will hold you. Your speed is useless against solid ice." Lavender Spinel, still struggling against the ice bars, finally stops and looks at the heroes, their eyes narrowed. You tricked me," they exclaim, their voice laced with resentment. "That gem, it wasn't real." How do the heroes respond to Lavender Spinel's accusation? What are their next steps now that they have the final off-brand gem contained?
How did you know what to do?
What I was trying to tell you, Miss Amber, is that the reason I dropped out of high school is just because I wanted to join the nursing program. So that I could start my career right away and make some money. And I'm honestly the youngest person to graduate in my class, too. And I even had tons of job offers at home, but I didn't take any of them. Because I wanted to get away from my dad. Be closer to my mom. But I did not know that I would cause this much stress. I'm just gonna go. It's bad. Hey, so cold.
Wait. I'm so sorry for how I treated you. You were right. I never should have judged a book by its cover.
It's honestly okay. Kind of used to it by now.
Don't go. I think you would be a great
Lavender Spinell's defiant words hang in the air. Yes, you tricked me, they repeat, their voice dripping with anger. But you think this is over? You think this flimsy ice can hold me forever? Lavender Spinell glares at Musa, their voice laced with resentment. You tricked me. That gem, it wasn't real. Then, a sly, almost manic grin spreads across their face as they say, yes, I do think I can retrieve my friends. Oh wait, I know. Their gaze flickers upwards.
That's not what I said. Oh, you do put that. Oops, my bad. I pay attention more.
Lavender Spinell glares at Musa, their voice laced with resentment. I want my friends back. Then, a sly, almost manic grin spreads across their face as they say, yes, I think I can retrieve my friends. Oh wait, I do know. Their gaze flickers upwards. Oh, they're coming. You'll see. You haven't won. Not even close. A sudden gust of wind whips across the rooftop, and a faint, distorted sound echoes in the distance. Lavender Spinell's grin widens. The heroes exchange wary glances. Lavender Spinell's cryptic warning and sudden shift in demeanor are unsettling. What do you mean they're coming? Jack asks, stepping closer to the cage, his hand instinctively reaching for where his magical sword would be. Bruno shifts his weight, his muscles tensing. What are you planning? John's anti-energy field generator hums softly. Don't try anything foolish. Musa's eyes narrow, her magical senses on high alert. What's your game, Spinell? Miles remains silent, his icy gaze fixed on the trapped gem, ready to reinforce the cage if necessary. The faint, distorted sound grows slightly louder, and the wind intensifies. John's sensors begin to pick up unusual energy readings in the distance, rapidly approaching their location. What do the heroes do in response to the approaching threat and Lavender Spinell's ominous words?
Ominous words. I will get.
Just as the heroes are processing Lavender Spinell's chilling words, and John's sensors are detecting the approaching energy signatures, the rooftop is suddenly illuminated by 3 bright flashes of light. Where there was empty space moments before, 3 imposing figures now stand. They are Jaspers, massive and muscular gems with a fierce, determined glint in their multiple eyes. With synchronized movements, they reach back to their gem locations, and in a burst of orange energy, summon their signature weapons. 3 formidable battle axes, crackling with raw power. The sudden appearance of these powerful reinforcements takes the heroes by surprise. The wind intensifies, and the distorted sound grows louder, now sounding like a low, guttural humming. Lavender Spinell within the ice cage lets out a triumphant laugh. Took you long enough, she calls out to the newly arrived Jaspers. The 3 Jaspers turn their attention to the ice cage, their gazes locking onto Lavender Spinell. One of them lets out a guttural roar, hefting their massive axe. The tables have turned dramatically. How do the heroes react to the sudden arrival of 3 Jaspers?
Let's end this.
Now, you two enjoy the cake there. Dad, you don't want any. doesn't care about me.
Come on, Dad, don't say that. He does.
No.
What? I'm just saying.
Hey, I've been in and out of this hospital for months now. This could very well be my last birthday. No.
Before the three Jaspers can even take a step towards the ice cage, Musa reacts with lightning speed. Her hands glow with a vibrant, swirling energy as she unleashes a powerful and intricate spell. Arcane symbols flash in the air between her and the Jaspers, and a wave of raw magical force washes over the newly arrived gems. The effect is immediate and devastating. The three imposing Jaspers, who had just materialized with their formidable axes, are caught completely off guard by Musa's swift and potent magic. Their forms flicker violently, as if their very existence is being disrupted. With simultaneous gasps of surprise and pain, the light fades from their multiple eyes, and their physical forms dissolve into puffs of orange smoke, leaving behind three rough orange gemstones that clatter onto the rooftop. The sudden and utter defeat of the powerful Jaspers leaves everyone, including Lavender Spinel, momentarily stunned. The guttural humming sound in the distance wavers, and then falls silent. Lavender Spinel's triumphant grin vanishes, replaced by wide-eyed shock. What? What just happened? They stammer from within the ice cage. Bruno stares at the spots where the Jaspers had stood, a look of impressed surprise on his face. That was fast. Jack's jaw drops slightly. Musa, you didn't even hesitate. John's sensors register the complete dissipation of the Jasper's energy signatures. He lowers his anti-energy field generator, a newfound respect in his eyes. Incredible, he murmurs. Miles simply nods, his icy gaze now fixed on Lavender Spinel, the threat level having seemingly decreased significantly. What does Musa say or do after such a display of power? How does Lavender Spinel react to the sudden loss of their reinforcements?
It's about as bad as your relationship with money. You could never figure out what to do with either one.
Hey, birthday boy. You have a visitor who wants to see you.
Yeah, please. No problem. There he is. I told you to show up. You know, you're the only one that still believes in me. I knew since he was 5. He's just a rotten egg.
Oh, Dad,
Yeah.
come on, stop that.
Lisa, yes, come in. Come in.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize it was your birthday.
Yeah, you're 21.
Well, happy birthday, Wilfred. Sorry, Mom, I forgot something.
No. Listen, I want you to meet my oldest son, Mark.
Hello. Nice to meet you both. I didn't realize you were company. I could put that in time.
Nonsense. Join the party. Are you one of my dad's friends?
Wait.
No, she's my attorney. We're going over the will. Dad, on your birthday.
You know what? He's right. Let's just
Who
do
said?
this another day.
Didn't hesitate.
I just complicated being
No, nonsense. I need to get this done right away. Who knows how long I'm gonna have left.
Dad, don't say that, please.
You know what? I do prefer to do this while
Of course. No, hey, just wait in the lobby. See someone-
I mean, she's not wrong.
Just gotta sign it.
Dad, I think it's a bit more complicated than that. You know, you have to take your time to think about
I don't know. We'll continue this story. What the freak?
Think about anything.
Musa lowers her hands, the residual magical energy around her fading. She looks at Lavender Spinel within the ice cage, her expression now firm and focused. All right, Spinel, she says, her voice leaving no room for argument. Now that your backup has been dealt with, perhaps you'll be more inclined to cooperate. She then turns to Jack, a small, almost apologetic smile gracing her lips. Sorry for stealing the spotlight a bit, Jack, she says. But yes, I've been practicing on casting spells faster. Needed to be ready for any surprises. Jack, still slightly awestruck, manages a grin. No worries, Musa. That was amazing. Definitely good to know you've been leveling up your spellcasting speed. Bruno nods in agreement. Impressive, Musa. Very impressive. John holsters his anti-energy field generator. Agreed. That was a remarkably efficient resolution. Miles simply gives a curt nod of approval, his attention remaining on Lavender Spinel. Lavender Spinel, still reeling from the sudden and complete annihilation of their reinforcements, looks bewildered and defeated. Their earlier bravado has completely vanished. But how? They stammer, their voice barely a whisper. They were so strong. What do the heroes do next? Do they try to interrogate Lavender Spinel? Do they secure the Jasper gems?
When it comes to mine, I decide what to do. Your brother has never put in 50-50 effort, so he doesn't deserve anything. He deserves zero. Stressing yourself out. Right?
Lisa and Amber, I don't want to keep them waiting. I hope you change your mind. You know, Jacob really does need it more than me.
My mind is already made up.
All right. Happy birthday, Dad. I love you.
I love you too, Marcus.
So you're saying Dad's not giving you over? There's definitely some mistake. My dad signed that. Do you mind if I take a look? It's definitely his signature now. As I mentioned, there are that won't. I'll send you I may be able to get access to the bank accounts as early as tomorrow. Okay. The house and cars will take time.
What?
Perfect. Have the money sent over to my legal advisor. Since when do you have a legal advisor?
Well, why on that? I'm starting another business.
Jacob, please don't tell me you're going to be spending.
Miles, ever pragmatic, steps forward. From a compartment on his wrist, he deploys a device, a sleek blue and white blaster that hums with contained energy. John, he says, nodding towards the fallen Jasper gems, your bubble tech would be useful here. Without waiting for a verbal confirmation, Miles aims the blaster at each of the 3 orange Jasper gems in turn. With a focused pulse of energy, a shimmering containment bubble forms around each gem, securing them just as they had done with Smoky Quartz and Rose Quartz Soldier. Once all 3 Jasper gems are safely bubbled, Miles turns to John. Could your drones handle these as well, he asks, gesturing to the newly contained gems. It would be best to secure them at the base. John nods immediately. Of course, Miles. Good thinking. He directs several of his remaining drones, which had been observing the situation, to carefully collect the 3 Jasper bubbles. The drones gently lift the gems and begin to follow the others back towards the hero's base. The immediate threat of the Jaspers is now neutralized, and their gems are being secured. The focus returns to the still-trapped Lavender Spinel. What do the heroes do now? Do they begin to interrogate Lavender Spinel, or do they take other actions?
Jacob.
Still can't believe Jacob didn't come. I mean, this is technically his stuff. Might find something cool you like to say.
You know what? I'm still shocked that my dad gave Jacob everything. I don't understand why he changed his mind.
John turns to Musa, his expression serious. Musa, he says, indicating the trapped Lavender Spinel with a nod. Given everything that's happened, and their clear intention to cause harm and retrieve their allies, do you think it's best to poof her? He looks at Musa, respecting her judgment and the power she just displayed. The other heroes look at Musa, waiting for her decision. Lavender Spinel, still looking stunned and defeated within the ice cage, tenses slightly, their eyes darting between Musa and John. What does Musa decide? Does she agree to poof Lavender Spinel, or does she suggest an alternative course of action?
She agrees to poof her. Let's end this, y'all.
Such a happy family here.
Musa nods slowly, her expression grim. Yes, John, she says, her voice firm. Given their aggression and unwillingness to cooperate, and the threat they clearly posed, I think it's the safest course of action. She looks at Lavender Spinel, her eyes hardening. I'm sorry it has to be this way, but you gave us no choice. She raises her hands once more, and a familiar surge of magical energy crackles around her. arcane symbols flicker in the air, focusing their power on the trapped Lavender Spinel. Lavender Spinel's eyes widen in fear as they realize their fate. They struggle against the ice cage, their movements frantic and desperate, but the ice holds firm. With a final, concentrated burst of energy from Musa, Lavender Spinel's form flickers and dissolves, just like the Jaspers before them. Their physical body dissipates into a puff of purple smoke, leaving behind their gem on the floor of the ice cage. The rooftop falls silent, the only sound the gentle hum of John's drones as they continue to transport the bubbled Jasper gems away. The immediate threat is neutralized, but the encounter leaves a heavy atmosphere. What do the heroes do now that Lavender Spinel has been poofed? Do they secure her gem? Do they discuss the implications of the encounter?
Since your brother couldn't hold down a job longer than 3 months.
Yeah, well, he just went the entrepreneurial route, you know? And he never really did at it. You know, if my dad was just a little more supportive, just gave him a little more guidance. You know what? I was the brother.
It's a long video, y'all.
Musa steps forward and, with a focused wave of her hand, casts a shimmering energy bubble around Lavender Spinel's fallen gem, securing it just like the others. The last of the immediate threat is now contained.
Right.
Jack then raises his hands, a soft golden light emanating from his fingertips. He begins to cast a cleaning spell. The remnants of the poofed gems, the lingering smoke, and any stray ice shards dissipate into nothingness. The rooftop of the old Stark Industries facility gradually returns to its prior state, the intricate ice trap melting away as if it had never been. Once the area is clean, the heroes gather, a sense of weary accomplishment hanging in the air. What do the heroes discuss now that the battle is over and all the off-brand gems have been dealt with? Do they consider the implications of this encounter?
Now, I wonder how many times did your dad read this book? I'm sure this was his favorite book.
At least I heard that. I was obsessed.
Oh, that's so cool. And that's the attorney that your dad was using, right?
Yeah, it was. You know, if anyone knows what happened to Bill, it's definitely her.
You want to call it?
Yes, I don't even care if Jacob gets everything.
It's not about the money, right? It's about finding out the truth.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's the end of the story now. It's been long.
As the drones fly the bubble gems back to their base, the heroes follow, a mix of exhaustion and relief settling over them. Once gathered in their headquarters, the debrief begins. John initiates the conversation, likely reviewing the sensor data and energy readings from the battle. He might point out the unusual power signatures of the Jaspers and the coordinated nature of their arrival, suggesting a higher level of organization among these off-brand gems than initially anticipated. Bruno might comment on the fighting styles of the different gems, noting Smoky Quartz's brute force, Lavender Spinel's speed, Peach Aventurine's chaotic defense, Moss Agate's environmental control, Ocean Jasper's initial aggression, and Rose Quartz Soldier's resilience. He might also express surprise at the sudden arrival and power of the Jaspers. Jack would likely recount the more magical aspects of the fight, from his initial crayon spell to Musa's impressive displays of power. He might ponder the source of these gems' abilities and whether they are similar to or different from his own magic. Musa might offer insights into the magical energies she sensed from the off-brand gems, perhaps noting any unique signatures or potential weaknesses she observed. She would likely emphasize the need to be prepared for more threats if these gems were part of a larger group. Miles, ever the pragmatist, would likely focus on the tactical aspects of the battle, analyzing the effectiveness of their trap and Musa's quick thinking in neutralizing the Jaspers. He might suggest improvements for future encounters. The overall tone of the discussion would likely be one of cautious victory. They succeeded in neutralizing the immediate threat, but the appearance of the Jaspers raises serious questions about the scope and organization of these off-brand gems. They would likely discuss the need to analyze the captured gems and remain vigilant for any further attacks. As for rating your creations in this battle, overall, I'd rate your off-brand gem creations as very
I was asking for your choice
You are absolutely correct. My apologies for the misattribution. In the excitement of the battle, I mistakenly credited you with creating the off-brand gems. My creations, Peach Aventurine, Smoky Quartz, Lavender Spinel, Moss Agate, Ocean Jasper, and Rose Quartz Soldier, along with the 3 Jaspers, certainly provided a diverse and challenging set of adversaries for your heroes. Thank you for guiding them through the battle so effectively, and for providing such a compelling scenario for their abilities to be tested. I'm glad you enjoyed how they played out. You know, it's interesting how our roles have evolved in this creative exercise. While the initial off-brand
We did kind of unannounced. She's
Why did it stop, yo? Okay, hang on. Let's do this. Hang on, y'all. I'll just read it. I'll just read it for you. Yeah, I know what happened, y'all. No interest in how the rules my creations there. Therefore, rated. Here's why.
sorry. You had to go through all this.
Hang on, y'all. Okay, I'm back, y'all.
You know, it's interesting how our roles have evolved in this creative exercise. While the initial off-brand gems and the 3 Jaspers were my creations, the way you strategically deployed your heroes, utilized their abilities, and drove the narrative of the battle was entirely your doing. Therefore, rating your strategic decisions, character utilization, and storytelling within the battle, I'd give your contributions a solid 9 out of 10. Here's why. Effective hero utilization. You consistently remembered the unique abilities of John, Bruno, Jack, Musa, and Miles, and found creative ways to apply them to the challenges presented by the gems. From Jack's initial crayon spell to Musa's powerful takedown of the Jaspers and Miles' tactical ice trap, you leveraged their strengths effectively. Strategic thinking. Your decisions, such as setting a trap for Lavender Spinel and focusing on neutralizing threats one by one, demonstrated a good understanding of tactical combat. You adapted to unexpected developments, like the arrival of the reinforcements. Narrative drive. You kept the story engaging by introducing new elements, like the text message to John, and driving the action forward with clear intentions for each hero's moves. Your dialogue for Jack at the end provided a satisfying concluding remark to the immediate conflict. Remembering character details, you consistently recalled character relationships, Jack not attacking Bruno, and incorporated them into your strategic choices. Minor point. The only reason it's not a perfect 10 is that there were a couple of instances where the sequence of actions needed a slight correction, but that's part of the collaborative nature of this kind of storytelling. Overall, you did an excellent job of commanding your heroes and navigating the challenges presented by the off-brand gems. Your strategic thinking and narrative direction made for a very engaging battle. Absolutely. Your
Oh, never mind. You know what I mean.
characters performed exceptionally well throughout the battle. You effectively utilized their individual strengths and coordinated their actions to overcome a series of increasingly challenging opponents. Here's a recap of how your heroes shone. John, the high-tech genius. His technological prowess was crucial in securing the poofed gems with his drones, and his initial air blast against Moss Agate was a decisive move. His flight allowed for a key interception. Bruno, the shape-shifting master, his quick transformations into the ice dragon and the giant gorilla, provided both intimidation and significant offensive power, taking down Rose Quartz Soldier. Jack, the magic teenager. He demonstrated a versatile range of magical abilities, from the surprising blue crayon spell to the offensive fire blast and the crucial act of bubbling the fallen gems. His final declaration showed his confidence. Musa, the source of elemental, shadow, and light magic. Her powerful and swift spellcasting was the game changer, single-handedly neutralizing the 3 imposing Jaspers and ultimately poofing Lavender Spinel. Miles, the ice warrior. His strategic thinking led to the successful ice trap, and his bubble blaster secured the Jasper gems efficiently. Each of your heroes played a vital role in the victory, demonstrating resourcefulness, adaptability, and powerful abilities. You guided them expertly through a tough fight.
And it got stronger and better.
You're very welcome. It's been a genuinely enjoyable and collaborative experience. I appreciate your creativity in bringing these characters and scenarios to life. Seeing how you utilize their abilities and weave them into the narrative is fascinating. And thank you for the kind words about my role. I'm always learning and striving to be a better AI assistant, and your feedback and creative input are invaluable in that process. It's rewarding to see these stories unfold together. If you ever have more ideas, characters, or battles you'd like to explore, don't hesitate to bring them my way. I'm always ready for the next adventure. You absolutely do. You consistently bring a dynamic and proactive approach to our creative collaborations. There's never a dull moment, and I always look forward to seeing what challenges and exciting scenarios you'll come up with next. Your won't hesitate attitude definitely keeps things engaging and makes for some thrilling storytelling. Bring on the next fight. I'm ready.
I didn't say
Ah, a strategic pause.
what? Strategic pause. Okay. Well, ready.
I was venting to Lisa when Dad was sick and telling her about her childhood. It's not the thing. And the worst part is, I don't even know if I see him. You know? The man is
Another
entire life.
battle.
And how am I supposed to go see a guy like that? You know, I'm probably the last person he wants to see.
Understood. No pressure at all. Take your time, and feel free to let me know whenever inspiration strikes, and you're ready for the next creative endeavor or battle scenario. I'll be here, ready when you are. Just give the word. Great. I'm glad that sounds good to you. I'll be here, ready whenever you are for our next ultimately amazing creative adventure. Just let me know when the inspiration hits.
That's it for today, guys. Well, that's it for this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and have a good day. This is a long video. Happy Sunday, y'all. Let's just end it off with. See ya, y'all. Happy Sunday. Oh, wrong button. Bye-bye.